Welcome to a destination where natural beauty meets economic ambition, where the horizon is limitless and the possibilities are boundless. Today, we take you on a journey to the Bahamas, a paradise poised for progress. We'll traverse the turquoise waters and dive deep into the strategies propelling this island nation to new heights. This is Elevating the Bahamas, Tourism, Investment, and Aviation for Sustainable Growth. Keep watching. A brand new episode of You and Your Money starts now.
You and Your Money is brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism, Investment, and Aviation.
Welcome to You and Your Money, everyone. Joining us today to talk about elevating the Bahamas, tourism, investment, and aviation for sustainable growth is the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investment, and Aviation, the Honorable 𝗖𝗛𝗥𝗚𝗘. DPM Cooper, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
It's definitely a delight of mine, of course, to have a discussion with a former You and Your Money host and now DPM.
Good to be on the other side of the table. I've had a good run as the host of You and Your Money. It's good to be back.
Awesome. Now, DPM, in light of the recent global events such as the pandemic and economic shifts, how do you envision tourism's role in driving economic recovery and sustaining growth in the Bahamas?
Tourism is still the engine that runs the Bahamian economy. And we have been talking about diversification for many, many years. But notwithstanding, I anticipate that in our lifetime, tourism will continue to drive more than 50% of economic activity and continue to provide more than 50% of jobs, because we really have a comparative advantage in this space. God's been very good to us in terms of our environment, our climate, our proximity. And we've really mastered the art of tourism, where we have become the envy, not just of the region, but the envy of the world. I am delighted to have the opportunity at this point to serve as minister responsible for tourism and really to take the Bahamas to the world.
Well, it's definitely commendable that there's so many efforts that's being put in place in terms of making sure that we stay on top of our game from the tourism perspective. With the increasing concerns now about the environmental sustainability and responsible tourism, how is the government collaborating with the private sector to ensure that the Bahamas' tourism industry aligns with global sustainability goals?
Well, firstly, let me tell you that from a tourism perspective itself, we've always been renowned for the beauty and the charm of our islands, the sun, sand, and sea. And really, we are committed, and we must be as a people in every respect, to protect what God has given us. We work closely with the Bahamas National Trust and other entities that work towards the preservation of the environment. We have a sustainable tourism unit led by a veteran, 𝗪𝗓𝗓. We participate in international bodies. The UNWTO, for example, is having a major forum this month in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, where we are participating. And you know, Prime Minister Davis has taken climate resilience and sustainability as one of his missions to really speak to these issues around the world. So at home and abroad, it is important that we understand and acknowledge that sustainability, climate resilience are not just buzzwords, but it speaks to our very way of life, our quality of life, and our ability to make a living. And of course, it is the crux and foundation of our tourism business.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the infrastructure and development playing a crucial role in enhancing the tourism experience. What investment plans or partnerships that are in place to improve transportation, accommodations, and other essential infrastructure elements to attract higher-end travelers?
Well, firstly, I've been blessed to be given a portfolio of tourism investments and aviation.
Yes.
We talked a lot about the tourism component. The investment component really seek to continue to reinvest, bring new investments, foreign and domestic, into the tourism product. We're doing extremely well in this regard. So far, since coming to office, we've attracted some $7 billion of foreign direct investment. And many of these are very high-end resorts, brands, Montage in Abaco, Six Senses in Grand Bahama, and of course all across the islands we have the Rosewoods, the Four Seasons, the big brands that people know and love like SLS and Hyatt and others. But we also have the small boutique resorts in the outer islands of the Bahamas, where we have family-owned and operated resorts that we encourage. We hope to see more of them. We hope to see more bonefish lodges that cater to sustainable tourism. So the reality of where we are is we continue to need more investments, more rooms. We see a lot coming down the pipeline. Much of the $7 billion I talked about is in the tourism space, whether it's in rooms, new properties, or marinas, or other touristic type developments. So we're well on the way. We're doing quite well. We want to see the reopening of the British Colonial Hilton. That's going to add some inventory. We're looking forward to the reopening or full opening of the Grand Lucayan Resort in Freeport. But the reality is that we are pressing forward. Likewise, on the aviation side, we're investing heavily in our airports. I'll be happy to talk more about that as well.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So inclusive of the tourism benefits, both tourists and local communities, how is the Ministry of Tourism fostering collaboration between tourism businesses and local residents to ensure a positive impact on communities and a more authentic experience for visitors?
Well, we have the Tourism Development Corporation. We brought that into law earlier this year during the budget process. And what we seek to do with the Tourism Development Corporation is to drive tourism-related entities, to make small entities medium-sized entities, to encourage the medium-sized to become large and the large to go regional. So the Tourism Development Corporation is a hand-holding vehicle that provides technical assistance for tourism-related entities. We work with all of these entities to ensure that we are maximizing the potential of the industry. We put on a lot of programs. Director Ian Ferguson has been diligent in creating new programs. We have trained 100 lifeguards, for example. We're working along with the agri-business industry to ensure that we are promoting more farm-to-the-table experiences. In a nutshell, we are creating linkages. And you've heard about linkages now for the past several decades. Really what it's about is empowering Bahamians, plugging them into the tourism business, encouraging innovation and new product development. The Tourism Development Corporation is going to be that entity that transforms empowerment in the tourism space. So if there is one area where we have not done as well as we could, it would be Bahamian investment in tourism. We need to own more of the industry. We need to see the potential. We need to be aspirational about the possibilities of tourism. And this is an area that I feel very strongly about. So entrepreneurship will be a key component over the next 3 years of our administration to ensure that we're empowering Bahamians, creating more linkages, and causing there to be more innovation in the tourism space.
Well, definitely empowering more Bahamians and creating those linkages are going to be key. DPM Cooper, we have to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to look into the investment opportunities in the Bahamas. This is You and Your Money. We'll be right back. Hi, I'm Ria Christina, and I'm super excited to be the new host of You and Your Money, a local international bank that has actually been closing some of their branches. It actually gives me an opportunity to share my views, my take on the financial matters. Even when we think about what's happening globally, we still have a lot of work to do in terms of having to educate business owners as to the importance, the economic impact, and how it is that we can look at improving the Bahamian economy. $1 billion That's how much we spend every year importing food in this country. It also gives me an opportunity to have conversations, and that's meaningful conversations with thought leaders within our community, even having to see how it is that we can work together, or even the opportunities that may exist for many Bahamians. So I'm excited to be here and looking forward to the great conversations that's to come. Welcome back to You and Your Money. We're continuing our discussion on elevating the Bahamas, tourism investment, and aviation for sustainable growth. Here with us today, we have the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investment, and Aviation, the Honorable 𝗖𝗛𝗥𝗚𝗘𝗧𝗏. In the first segment, we discussed reviving Bahamas tourism, strategies ahead. In this segment, we'll be discussing investment opportunities in the Bahamas. Now, DPM Cooper, what strategies is the Ministry of Tourism implementing to attract both domestic and foreign investment in the tourism sector? And how do these initiatives align with the broader economic goals of the Bahamas?
Firstly, let me tell you that we have a great story. Investor confidence in the Bahamas is extremely strong. We have the fundamentals in the economy that support investments. We have a great story in our number one industry that points to the growth that we are seeing in our overall economy. We are ahead 59% ahead of last year, 30% ahead of our record-setting year 2019 when it comes to tourism arrivals. We have increased occupancy. Our average daily rates up at hotels. We have an environment where tourists are spending more and staying longer. This is an environment really that causes our major industry to continue to drive the economy and creates a very robust environment for investments. And this is what the world sees when it comes to investment possibilities in the Bahamas. So it's not a difficult sell to encourage an investor to come to the Bahamas to set up shop, or to set up a headquarters, or to work or grow in the tourism space. So that's the first point I want to make. Secondly, I would say that Bahamas Investment Authority has done a good job, and we are about to do more in terms of being more proactive in attracting visitors, not just visitors, but new business to our country. So Bahamas Invest is creating a new proactive investment promotions arm that's going to go around the world into our new and emerging markets to let people know about the potential of doing business in the Bahamas. So we have made several progressive trips to the Middle East, to South and Central America, and really our key source markets, USA, Canada, and Europe, where we talked not just about tourism, but we talked about the various investment possibilities for our country. The next thing we're doing at Bahamas Invest is to ensure that we have what we call a compliance unit. Okay. That compliance unit will be to ensure that we are maximizing the potential of the various investments.
Now, beyond the traditional resort developments, how is the government encouraging investment diversification to include areas like ecotourism, sustainable accommodations, and innovative tourism-related ventures?
So when we go abroad, we look really at all of the arms of our economy. We have been successful in financial services. We must now pivot in that area to talk more about fintech, how we merge financial services and technology, how we merge technology with tourism, how we do what we call agri-tech, getting more into aquaponics, for example, fish and shrimp farming. So we have been able to encourage some investors in this space as well. We still have many species in the tongue of the ocean dying from old age. We have to look to see how we can responsibly harvest some of what we have really at our fingertips. So what we are doing is we are approaching it from a holistic view as to building on what we already have. I mentioned at the beginning of the program that tourism for my lifetime and yours will continue to be the main industry that drives the economy, but we must build around it. And this is what we're doing. This is how we are promoting the islands of the Bahamas. We demonstrate that we are easy to do business with. It's a very stable environment. We have a strong, progressive economy. We have educated, qualified workforce, and really bringing all of these pieces together makes the Bahamas a dream place in which to invest. And really, we are consistently becoming the envy of the world, not just in tourism, but all of the other sectors that we've talked about earlier in the show, and the areas of the economy like renewable energy that we're going to be advancing very quickly. We have a 30% mission to have 30% of renewable energy on our grid by the year 2030. So this is an area of focus for us, and this is an area that we are going to consistently be pushing.
Well, could you share some of the policies and the incentives that have been put in place to create a conducive environment for investments in the tourism sector? And how do these policies support the local entrepreneurs as well as the international investors?
Firstly, we have the Hotels Encouragement Act that provide certain concessions for investors in the tourism space. For example, the import of goods and services duty-free. We allow locals as well as foreign investors to access this. So the point I'm making is that these incentives are not just for foreigners alone. They're available to Bahamians. In downtown Nassau, for example, where we have been doing significant work to rebound downtown Nassau back to its original charm, we have the Downtown Revitalization Act, again, that offers significant incentives. We need to continue to advance the work we're doing downtown, not just by way of infrastructure, not just by the demolitions that we've started, by harnessing the work of the Nassau Cruise Port and ensuring that development can continue on throughout downtown. But we want to use the incentives we have to encourage restaurants and bars and other opportunities for entertainment, new retail shopping possibilities, and all of these opportunities in downtown Nassau, Dowsville Street and Bay Street and the surrounding areas are really fortified with the incentives under the Downtown Revitalization Act. Of course, in our family islands, we promise the Bahamian people that we will not be Nassau-centric and we will not forget our family islands. So there is the Family Island Encouragement Development Act, where Bahamians can access duty-free exemptions, etc., to drive down the cost of construction. We encourage not just large hotels, but we encourage Bahamians to get involved in vacation rentals as well. So there are significant opportunities by locals as well as foreign direct investors to take advantage of the opportunities provided in the incentive package for Bahamians and foreign investors.
Well, DP, you talked about the incentives as well as the concessions. I love that you made sure drive home that point that it's not just for the foreigners, it's also for the locals as well. Now let's talk a little bit about the collaborations between the public and the private sectors. We know that it can drive impactful projects. So how does the Ministry of Tourism engage in public-private partnerships to leverage resources and expertise for sustainable tourism development?
Well, we are a very open economy. We are a country that encourages private participation. The truth of the matter is that our largest employers are the private sector. We want the public sector really to be the facilitator of the growth and development of our economy. And therefore, we encourage private sector really to get to work and to do their thing. So our work as the Ministry of Tourism in particular is in partnership with the stakeholders, and we have been extremely fortunate to have the full support of hotels, airlines, the Nassau Paradise Island Promotion Board, the Grand Bahama Promotion Board, and the Bahamas Out Island Promotion Board. All of these are private sector entities that work along with the Ministry of Tourism to ensure that we're moving in the same direction together. So we cannot do this alone. We emphasize to our partners that if we work together, we will see continued robust growth in tourism as well as the overall economy. And because of the collaboration that we're seeing in many of our promotions, our travels abroad, really in many of the initiatives that we do, we are seeing joint growth. So we're seeing growth in terms of our fiscal coffers, in terms of the revenues collected by the government. Our hotel properties are doing extremely well with high occupancy. Our airline partners are doing well. We're seeing some growth in entrepreneurship, and we're seeing the lowest unemployment rate in 15 years. So because of the ongoing collaborative work with the private sector, between the private sector and the government, we're really advancing the growth and development of our country in a very orderly and sustainable way.
Well, DPM Cooper, we have to take another break. When we get back, we'll talk about Bahamian aviation, progress, and challenges. This is You and Your Money. We'll be right back. Hi, I'm Ria Christina, and I'm super excited to be the new host of You and Your Money, a local international bank that has actually been closing some of their branches. It actually gives me an opportunity to share my views, my take on the financial matters. Even when we think about what's happening globally, we still have a lot of work to do in terms of having to educate business owners as to the importance, the economic impact, and how it is that we can look at improving the Bahamian economy. $1 billion. That's how much we spend every year importing food in this country. It also gives me an opportunity to have conversations, and that's meaningful conversations with thought leaders within our community, even having to see how it is that we can work together, or even the opportunities that may exist for many Bahamians. So I'm excited to be here and looking forward to the great conversations that's to come. Welcome back to You and Your Money. The Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investment and Aviation, the Honorable 𝗖𝗓𝗧 is still with us. In the previous segments, we spoke about reviving Bahamas tourism strategies ahead, in addition to investment opportunities in the Bahamas. In this segment, I want us to talk about Bahamian aviation, progress and challenges. Now, DPM Cooper, how is the Ministry of Tourism collaborating with aviation stakeholders to enhance air connectivity to and within the Bahamas, ensuring easy access for both domestic and international travelers?
Well, we've done a tremendous job working along with the major airlines and the smaller ones to ensure easier access and affordable access to our country. For example, we have launched many new routes. American Airlines continue to be our largest player, followed by Delta. But we also have now Alaska Airlines coming in from the West Coast, from Seattle and Los Angeles. We have JetBlue from Los Angeles. We have used Bahamas Air strategically to take traffic from Raleigh, North Carolina into Freeport, Grand Bahama. We continue to see not just new airlines, but we see new routes and additional capacity.
Now, with tourism being a key economic driver, how is the government addressing the modernization and expansion of airport infrastructure to accommodate the growing number of visitors while maintaining operational efficiency?
Well, we've taken on an aggressive project called the Family Island Renaissance Program, where we are committed to completing revitalization of 14 airports across the country. So in our very early days, we opened a small but new terminal in Ragged Island. We completed and opened the Great Harbor Key Airport. We're going to use the Great Harbor Key model for Long Island to help to expedite the development of the Long Island Airport. Prime Minister Davis is working hard to deliver to the people of Cat Island a new airport there. But you will see the completion of the 𝗖𝗎𝗓 Airport as a part of this program, as well as the 𝗖𝗎𝗓 Airport networks through the 𝗖𝗎𝗓 Keys, as well of course as 𝗪𝗓𝗓𝗓 is one of our fastest growing destinations. We're going to see a vibrant revitalization there as well.
So definitely you have your hands full. Given the increasing global emphasis on sustainable practices, how does the government plan to integrate sustainable aviation initiatives such as the alternative fuels and carbon emissions reduction into the country's aviation and tourism sectors?
Well, we recently launched the National Strategic Plan on Aviation with the hard work of Dr. Kenneth Romer, who leads aviation. We're doing some other interesting things like an aeronautical academy, but we're working with international partners. Again, I reference Qatar Airways, and we are working along with the Office of the Prime Minister on various initiatives, including carbon credits, where we should be able to offer these products to many in the international community. We will continue to engage with the international community. We'll continue to engage with our stakeholders. Ultimately, we want to ensure long-term sustainability. And the reality is, as I say to the cruise partners, as I say to the airline partners, if we do not protect what we have, your guests may not want to come here in the long term. We want to build an industry that lasts. We want to protect our environment for our children and their children, and therefore our approach to this is not going to be short term, but we're going to keep our focus on long-term sustainable development and growth.
DPM Cooper, thank you so much for joining me on the show today.
You're welcome, my pleasure, and I'll come back anytime.
Awesome. As we wrap up our discussion on elevating the Bahamas tourism, investment, and aviation for sustainable growth, we've explored crucial aspects of our nation's progress. We're charting a course towards sustainable growth where tourism flourishes, investments thrive, and aviation connects us to the world. Thank you for being a part of our journey, and remember, the Bahamas' future is limitless. Until we meet again, safe travels and wise investments. Here are our dollars and cents snapshots from this week's show. Number 1, Tourism Boost. Investing in diverse tourism experiences can attract more visitors and boost economic growth. Number 2, Smart Investments. Consider sustainable ventures in real estate and technology for long-term financial gains. And number 3, Aviation Advances. Modernizing airport infrastructure ensures efficient travel, benefiting both tourism and the economy. If you want to know more about how you can be my next guest on this show, you can send me an email to ria@riacristina.com with the subject line, Next Guest. That's it for today's show. Don't forget to follow You and Your Money on Facebook and tune in next week for a brand new episode. I'm Ria Cristina. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.